forward, I'm going to be our staff lead for the trade network over the next little while as the network resumes, and hopefully that will work well for most of you. Great to work with many of you again. For those of you who may be joining us for the first time or need a refresher on the trade network, its aim is to help Brampton businesses who are looking to increase their exporting capacity and identify new markets. This includes actively working with the board's partners to identify industries and sectors that are interested in building trade relationships with Brampton businesses, as well as research and information sessions on topics ranging from international trade to interprovincial trade, as well as webinars and training sessions on best practices for those looking to export as well. Before we begin, I want to recognize that while today we are obviously meeting virtually, the land on which we gather and which the Region Appeal and the Brampton Board of Trade operate is part of the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit. For thousands of years, Indigenous people have inhabited and cared for this land and continue to do so today. In particular, we acknowledge the territory of the Anishinaabe, the Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, Ojibwe, Chippewa peoples, and the land that is home to the Métis as well. And most recently, the territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, who are direct descendants of the Mississaugas of the Credit. And we're very grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land, and while doing so, give our respect to its first inhabitants. Our intention for the trade network is to meet bi-monthly going forward. While you have noticed that we are obviously meeting virtually today, I want to assure you that that was strictly an operational decision given the time of year. We thought a virtual option might give more people more opportunity to participate given other scheduling conflicts that come up at this time of year. But going forward, you should be assured that there will be plenty of opportunity to connect and network with current and future colleagues, both virtually and in person as part of the trade network. Before we turn the floor over to our guest speaker today for the keynote address, I do want to recognize and call upon Kamvar Danjal of Just Instruments. Kamvar is a leader in our community, serving as director of the Brampton Board of Trade and as our board representative for the Trade Network. He was integral in pulling together today's program and will play a big role in future meetings as well. Kamvar, the floor is yours for if you'd like to do greetings.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Loud and clear.
So, good morning, all. First of all, I would like to convey my thanks to Consul General of India, Mr. Apoorva Srivastava, former Consul General Shubhan Krishan, and our past chair of Brampton Board of Trade, Brother Shamim. Welcome, brother. So like Kevin said, Brampton Board of Trade is actively involved in interprovincial and international trade. So we see a lot of things that are happening in India. India is progressing, FTA is coming, but there are few sectors in which we need to work together to increase the trade between India and Canada, mainly with the food sector, IT sector, advanced manufacturing, healthcare. So we are all there. We have business organization, lot of network, lot of members which want to do the business across the world, across the India and the South Asia. And I will like once again to convey my sincere thanks to all of us who are joining us. Thank you so much.
Great. Well, thank you, Kamvar. This being our first trade meeting network in a couple of months, we wanted to pick things up with a big topic and a high impact speaker. And I think we've done that. We've succeeded in doing that by securing the participation of our keynote guest, Ms. Apoorva Srivastava, India's Consul General in Toronto. She's a career diplomat, having joined the Indian Foreign Service in the year 2001. Prior to being appointed as Consul General in Toronto, she worked with the Minister of External Affairs, the January 2017 to August 2019. Over the course of her 19-year diplomatic career, she has served twice at the Indian Embassy in Paris from August of 2003 to October of 2006, and again from August 2012 to July of 2015. She's also served at the Indian Embassy in Kathmandu from June 2009 to August 2012. And Consul General Srivastava holds a master's in psychology from Lucknow University. And although there will not be a language test today, she is fluent in Hindi, English, and French. Ms. Consul General, thank you very much for joining us this morning. And over to you.
Thank you so much. Good morning, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to address this gathering of members of Brampton Board of Trade. Thank you, Mr. Todd Letts, Kevin Dripper, and Kavan Dhanjalji for organizing this interaction. I think it's a very timely initiative because we are meeting at a time when our economies are emerging from the adverse effects of pandemic, and it's time to get together again and kickstart the business relationships. And what better place to do this with other than Brampton, who is home to so many Indians and Indian origin Canadians. So nobody has to explain about India or the culture of India and the economy of India to the Brampton people of Brampton. Today, I'm going to give an overview of Indian economy, the current Indian economy, and then talk about the four sectors that we have mutually identified and the opportunities that they offer for forging stronger trade relations between India and Canada, with a special focus on Brampton city. We know we just came out of COVID, hopefully, and India managed the 3 waves of pandemic in a very confident way. We already have administered 2 billion doses in the arms of Indians. The pandemic was also an opportunity for India to roll out deep structural reforms across the board in land, labor, liquidity, and in sectors like education and health. And these reforms and policy choices have been showing result. India is today the fastest growing G20 economy in the world. And by 2030, it is likely to be the third largest global economy in terms of GDP. India will, in the next few years, also become the most populous country in the world, and that means that we will be the largest talent pool in the world. Innovation and technology are now defining the next few years, which is called decade. India now has over 70,000 startups, with more coming up at the rate of 3 a day. We have more than 100 unicorns with a valuation of over $1 billion, and this is a great opportunity with Brampton because you have an innovation district, which is we recently brought a NASSCOM delegation to the innovation district. We have currently 1.2 billion telephone connections and 750 million internet connections. Because of these, the value of Indian digital economy will reach $1 trillion by 2025. Currently, 40% of the total digital transactions in the world is happening in India. Our exports and FDIs are all-time high. Last year we crossed 400 billion export target, which is one of the largest in few years. And of course, we received $82 billion in FDI in the peak of pandemic. And the trust of investors, especially in Canada, is demonstrated by the fact that Canadian pension funds and investment firms have invested more than $60 billion in Indian portfolios. So let me now focus a little bit on various sectors that has been identified. Let me start with banking and financial services. India has a diversified financial sector, and it has been undergoing rapid expansion in the last few years, both in terms of a strong growth of existing financial services firms and new entities that are entering the market. India's private wealth management is expected to be the fourth largest private wealth market globally by 2028. Rising income is driving the demand for financial services in India across income brackets. Our banking regulator have recently allowed new entities such as payment banks to be created in the country, thereby adding to the types of entities operating in the center. A very crucial component of India's financial sector is the insurance industry, and this industry has been expanding at an exponential rate. India's insurance market is expected to reach $250 billion by 2025. And the government has also approved 100% FDI for insurance intermediaries and increased FDI limit in the insurance sector from 49% to 74%. Several reforms to liberalize, regulate, and enhance financial industry have taken place. We have taken various measures to facilitate easy access to finance for micro, small, and medium enterprises. With a combined push by government and private sector, India has become one of the largest and most vibrant capital markets. India is well positioned as one of the largest digital markets in the world. The 40% of the total digital transaction of the world is happening in India today. We have certain lot of financial inclusion schemes. There are 750 million internet connections. Mobile phone is in hand of every Indian. 1.2 billion mobile connections in rural areas also. 68% of India's population is young and aged between 24 and 35 years. India will add 140 million middle income households and 21 million high income households by 2030, driving demand and growth in the Indian fintech sector. India already has the world's second largest smartphone users and the second largest market for internet users. We expect that there will be 1 billion internet users by 2026. So because of this, India is one of the fastest growing fintech market with around 7,000 fintech startups in the country. The Indian fintech industry was worth 50 billion in 2021 and expected to reach 150 billion in 2025. The unified payment interface that India has created has more than 320 participating banks, and the money is delivered immediately. There's no lag, and everybody is using it in India. We have 23 fintech companies in India that have achieved unicorn status. Taking into consideration these opportunities, some of the leading Canadian banks have already established their footprints in India and are seamlessly catering to dynamic Indian market. At the same time, some Indian financial institutions like Paytm, ICICI, SBI Bank Canada have set up base in Canada and are playing significant role in scaling up India-Canada economic partnership. Ontario is home to North America's second largest financial hub, and I've seen Brampton taking advantage of that, becoming a hub of finances. Given the robust ecosystem, there's a tremendous potential for Indian and Canadian companies to come together and explore opportunities in areas of this very important sector. So, I'll now go to health and sciences. The healthcare industry in India comprises of hospitals, medical devices, clinical trials, outsourcing, telemedicine, medical tourism, health insurance, and medical equipment. The industry is going at a tremendous pace owing to its strengthening coverage, services, and increasing expenditure by public as well as private players. India is presently the 11th largest exporter of pharma products to Canada, with exports amounting to USD 543 million in 2021. Among the products, formulations command more than 80% of the total exports from India. Bulk drugs constitute over 13.5% of exports. As we know, India is considered to be the pharmacy of the world. So we have massive production capacities of generic medicines, vaccine, and other pharma products. During the COVID, we have shown our competence to create vaccines, and we have provided not only to our 1.4 billion population, but also many countries in the world, including Canada. Canada is home to one of the largest South Asian community. India and Canada has much in common when it comes to healthcare. Our economies are complementary. Highly skilled Indian professionals lend competitive edge to Canadian businesses. A number of Indian pharma companies are already present in Canada. Most of pharmaceutical demand of Canada is met from imports, as Canada has limited local production capacity. It's looking to strengthen its domestic pharma base through identification of generic medicines that can be produced domestically as well as securing and enhancing Canada's role in international pharmaceutical supply chain. So this is a very big opportunity, and despite India's huge pharma industry, it contributes only 3% of Canada's pharma import. Given low cost of India's generic drug, very high quality drugs, as well as our well-established domestic manufacturing base and low-cost skilled manpower, there's an enormous scope for Indian pharma companies to work with Canadian partners and cater to the Canadian market. There are several Indian pharma companies who already have an offices here. Indian companies can also work with you to strengthen domestic production for generic medicines. Canada is one of the top pharma markets in the world, with federal and state government providing for public health. The introduction of new pricing reforms by Canadian government in July 2022 would cap prices for both patented drugs and generic, creating a wide margin between them. This is going to increase the demand for generics, for which India is a powerhouse. The opening up of Canadian generic drug market to Indian players will reduce the Canada's over dependence on other players, and this is where Brampton can come in and help in establishing maybe new production centers or different kind of partnership with Indian players, many of which who are already present here. I'll now talk a bit about advanced manufacturing. India is rapidly transiting towards automated and process-driven manufacturing. Indian manufacturing industry generates 16 to 17% of India's GDP pre-pandemic and is projected to be one of the fastest growing sectors. The machine tool industry was literally the nut and bolts of manufacturing industry in India. Today, technology has stimulated innovation with digital transformation, the details of which I've already given earlier. In manufacturing, India has traditionally been focused on domestic productions and consumption. Our challenges were included a price-conscious market, less developed infrastructure, supply chain constraints, leaning towards labor-intensive processes owing to availability of low-cost labor and technology being expensive. So recognizing these challenges, Government of India and Indian companies have together come up with various policy options and reforms. We are aiming to increase the share of manufacturing in GDP from currently 17% to 25% by 2025. The Make in India policy of Government of India has increased the demand and consumption for machinery and equipment for local manufacturing industries. We have introduced a production-linked incentive scheme to develop 13 sectors at par with global manufacturing standards. The Canadian advanced manufacturing sector, which includes advances made in fields of robotics, 3D printing, and ICT technology, benefits from one of the best research and development environments in the world, along with readily available wealth of talent. As a global leader in system integration, artificial intelligence, sensors, green technology, machine vision, and automation, Canadian companies can facilitate the seamless integration of Industry 4.0 solutions in India into manufacturing operations. So this is a very important sector where Canadian companies, the companies based in Brampton, can either go to India with their technology and make and scale up their operations, or they can invite the Indian companies to produce here with the technologies, and it can be a joint venture in that. This is a huge opportunity for collaboration. Last but not the least, I'll talk about food and beverages. The Indian food and beverage industries has emerged as a high profit sector in recent past. It accounts for around 2/3 of the total retail market in India. Indian food processing industry accounts for 1/3 in the total food market. Higher growth of food processing industry over agriculture since last few years indicate that the level of processing has been increasing over the years. With the earlier food, there was a lot of food wastage in India, and the earlier food processing in India was limited to food preservation, packaging, and transformation. But due to reduction of food waste, we have been developing, we have been establishing the cold storage facilities, food parks, packaging centers, irradiation centers, and modernized abattoir to offer new products like ready-to-eat foods, beverages, processed foods and vegetables, processed marine and meat products, etc. This has created opportunities for both existing and new players to grow in the Indian market. The food processing industry is the second largest manufacturing industry in Canada. There are great opportunities for business growth in F&B sector as the population growth is primarily from immigration. I'll give you an example of McCain's, of course, a company based in New Brunswick, and they make in India. They have they have many factories based in India, and they make it for the world. So every fifth French fry made by McCain's is made in India, and they export. They sell not only in India, but they export from there to rest of the world. So this is one great a great example of how food processing has the company that has gone to food processing, and it's definitely a win-win situation. Tim Hortons went to India. Two Tim Hortons were the first two Tim Hortons were opened last week in India. So there are a lot of opportunities in this food processing sector. Another important thing is the immigration-based, food preferences. The Brampton is home of so many Indians and Indian origin people. Their food preferences, are they wanted to get food from their own country. So this is another opportunity to import more food of their palate to Canada, and this sector is growing in a big way. There are this trend creates greater business opportunities in the ethnic food segment, and as the ethnic population grows, ethnic retail channels are going to grow their share, while the mainstream retailers are increasing their offering of authentic ethnic food products. I believe F&B industry constitutes one of the most exciting and interesting sectors today. The combination of recent developments in scientific understanding of nutrition of Indian's ecosystem, the burgeoning field of genomics, and the large-scale challenge around nutrition security creates a potent canvas for market and technology-led innovations. I think this provides an exciting opportunities for the members of Brampton Board of Trade to work with Indian partners and scale up partnerships for mutual growth. Government of India accords high priority status to food industry. Our objective is to reduce inefficiencies resulting from wastages and losses, which can be done only by expanding the necessary infrastructure such as cold storage facilities and using the modern technologies. And given the complementarities between technological advances made by Canadian companies in this area and India's rapidly growing food processing industry, I think there are numerous opportunities for India and Canada to collaborate on F&B sector and help each other in ensuring food security for themselves and the world. So I think this giving an overview of these four sectors, we are available as a counselor to facilitate any company who wants to go to India or who wants any partnership with an Indian company. Now when the things are opened up, we are getting more and more delegations from India. Of course, if the visa is a little tricky right now, but a lot of delegations from India want to come to Canada to forge major partnership, and it's been our endeavor to take these delegations not only to the MTV, as they call it, Montreal, Toronto, and Vancouver, but to other cities where we see potential. And Brampton is definitely is one of the great partner for us, not only because they are home to this huge Indian population, but also the way Brampton has shaped itself in not only the trade related things, but also the innovation district. So we can be a great partner to each other. I would request Brampton Board of Trade to mount a delegation to India to see the changes that have been happening in India, the innovation that is happening in India, the enthusiasm that is currently due to the young population, to see that firsthand. And we'll be very happy to facilitate your visit in that. With these words, let me thank you once again, and thank you for inviting me and giving me this opportunities to talk to all of you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Consul General. That was a terrific presentation with a lot of information. No doubt this group will have some questions for you about it. Just before we go forward, you mentioned our CEO, Todd Letts, and I wanted to make sure I mentioned that Todd had asked me to give his regrets to the group this morning. He's actually working in the United States this week, doing some work with one of our peer chambers of commerce in the Kansas City, Missouri area. Excuse me. I know it would have been his preference to be with us this morning, but he did ask me to say hello to all of you, and he hopes to be with us soon. So that said, happy to turn it over to questions. If you have one, feel free to raise your hand and come off mute, and we'll do our best to recognize you in order. One question I had that might, excuse me, get things started. If you could maybe speak to some of the projects that are being implemented in India with respect to the electrification of infrastructure, and as well as the electric vehicle space in particular, and how Canada can help and what kinds of opportunities that may present.
Okay, so EVM is one sector where we are working. We are working towards developing that sector a lot, and by 2030 we hope to have around 60% of our vehicles to be electric based. And I know Ontario is turning out to be the leader in EVM, especially in the huge investments that have happened in the Windsor area. Definitely we would need technology. We would need raw material, the minerals that Canada has to offer. Definitely there's a lot of potential in having that. And I take this opportunity to tell you that the company, the Invest India team would be coming in October or November, and their focus is on this EVM sector, the electric batteries and the vehicle sector, and especially to get technologies. So that will be if Brampton Trade of Board of Trade is agreeable or they are interested, we can have a meeting with many of those experts would be coming, and that will be a great platform to discuss in detail about what are the opportunities that are available. But definitely we need lot of technology in that sector, and also a lot of raw material from Canada.
Great. And why don't we go now to our past chair, Badar Shaman.
Thank you, Kevin. Madam Consul General, welcome again. I am a money manager by profession and represent a family-owned investment firm in Toronto called Generation Portfolio Management Corp. We've been investing in India since, quite frankly, the tech sector blowing up here in North America in 2000. It sort of forced our hands to take a look at where some of the competition for North American technology sector was coming from. And it didn't take us long to realize that India had certain economies of scale, both in labor and in currency arbitrage, which made the tech sector pretty potent. And so we've been investing in the tech sector indirectly through our colleagues at the Birla Asset Management in India since then. I really like the fact that you identified Toronto as the second largest capital market hub here in North America, and the potential Brampton hosts to leverage that to build further relationships between asset managers like ourselves and the asset managers in India. We're sector agnostic, and we look at things across all sectors. Have you done any work thus far in terms of connecting dots, both between the three stock exchanges here in Toronto and Bombay Stock Exchange? And also, has there been any discussions between the regulators, securities regulators in India, and the securities regulators here in Canada about dual listing? So our firm, for instance, is listed here in Canada, but we're also listed with the Securities and Exchange Commission in US, which allows us to go back and forth and engage both investors on both sides of the border to bring investment opportunities to them. Has there been any discussions on that front within the capital market participants in India and Canada?
I'm afraid I'm not aware of any such discussions taking place, but I know that Bombay Stock Exchange hosts one of the innovation hubs from the Toronto Metropolitan University. There's not, but I think this is because we are negotiating SEPA and then FIPA after that, and I think that will be a great opportunity to initiate conversations in this area. And thank you for the suggestion. The president of the Bombay Stock Exchange is here in Canada for a private visit. So if you would like to, have this conversation, that will be, it will be a great thing to have. And he just came for our 15th August celebrations, just like that, saying that I was here. And so I think that's a great opportunity, and we can initiate this conversation. And thank you so much for the suggestion.
I would be delighted to take you up on that offer. I'm not saying anything that puts me in a conflict of interest with Brampton Board of Trade, having served on our board as the past chair. I'm now a director for Canada-Turkey Business Council, and we're having very similar dialogue between the stock exchanges in Toronto and Borsa Istanbul, and the money managers here and the money managers in Turkey. It makes a lot of sense to bring capital together as both Canada and India continues to scale up across all sectors. If there's an opportunity to meet him or her, I would be delighted to take that opportunity on.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the suggestion.
Thank you, Badar. We go next to Navi.
Hi, Councillor. I'm Navi. I'm from Export Development Canada. You mentioned a few sectors where you're seeing a lot of growth in India. What are some of the sectors you find where Canadian expertise can come the other way and help the Indian economy?
The Indian expertise, of course, there's lot of sectors where it can be held. EVM is one of the sectors. AI is another. Of course, there's a lot of startups which is happening, but we definitely need robotics is another great sector. Innovation, there are many things in innovation that could be, in the agriculture, the new technologies in agriculture, in climate change, green technology. So basically, there are a lot of startups that are happening in India in these sectors, but definitely you guys are way more ahead that we are in India with among these sectors, these cutting edge sectors. So definitely we would need a lot of technology, and anything which if either the Canadian companies can go to India with these, or if you want us to connect you to relevant companies, if you can give the specific sector, we'll be very happy to facilitate that. Or if you want more presentation or more detailed presentations from the experts, we'll be very happy to organize sector focused presentations from experts from India, virtually.
Definitely.
Of course.
That'd be great, especially in the agriculture sector. That's something that we have already flagged as one of the big opportunity sectors for us as well, to help for Canadian companies to help in India. So that's definitely totally in line with that.
Sure. So please, we will be very happy to take these conversations forward and organize a very focused, very intense sector-wise presentations. So Kevin, are you listening?
There you go, Kevin. I got more work.
Thanks, guys. Great. No, happy to. Great. We have time on the clock for a couple more questions. People have them. Looks like Jayesh from Brampton Economic Development, if you'd like to go ahead.
Yes. First of all, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Madam Consul General. It's been a great opportunity always to connect with you and do a co-platform of helping businesses from India learning into Canada or the other way around. And our folks, representatives at Brampton Board of Trade and businesses have been extremely happy in terms of this relationship. And of course, as you touched base on the socio-economic fabric and the great connections between Brampton and India, it's absolutely a matter of great pride, I would say. So a couple of things that I represent the Invest Brampton part of it, and as Madam, we had been in touch in the past also for a couple of inward missions, and this is a great opportunity when we talk about businesses, when they plan to have a soft landing within Brampton. It's that ecosystem that enables. Of course, we are very well read in terms of what it means of India's largest industries like IT sector, you mentioned about financial services, the auto sector, pharmaceuticals, chemical engineering, etc. At the same time, you on the backdrop of the growing sectors that you mentioned about, be it advanced manufacturing, telecom sector, food processing. Now, this is where as a representative from the economic development, my role is to help visiting Indian businesses to explore opportunities in locating their businesses within the city. And of course, it's that ecosystem that enables, whether it is connecting with Brampton Board of Trade in terms of the industry connections are concerned, or our incubators, accelerators. So the evolving innovation district, Madam, you mentioned about it very effectively. That is something of a great thing. So Brampton is all ready and it means business now. So be it from the kind of companies that we had in the past in terms of their soft landing over here, I could share some of the good testimonials also, like what it means for businesses 5,000 miles when they land in over here, the kind of the concierge services as Brampton ecosystem that we provide. So this is an opportunity that we work in collaboration. There are quite a few things that I could share in terms of what that testimonial means. And most importantly, when you hear from these businesses, that is something that you would like to really look into that and add them. So that's something great. Of course, been initiating a couple of inward investments. So I will be visiting India, but I'm looking forward to working with you closely. And if there are specific missions and all, as usual, more than happy to be a part of your agenda. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We look forward to working with you as well.
Great. Kambar, floor is yours.
Yes. Madam Consul General, may I request you if you can give me a little more highlight on tea and coffee sector? I think India is a great producer of tea and coffee, and which is not much popular in Canada. If in that sector we can have some collaboration. So if you can give a little more insight information about tea and the coffee sectors.
Yeah, so of course, you know that one of the largest producers of tea is India, and also coffee. We are not many people know, but we are one of the largest producers of coffee as well, especially from the southern states, and very good quality coffee. But you rightly said this is not very popular. At least I see some tea here, but not the Indian coffee. So that is one area where, you know, if you can help us to getting it. There's a connection between Canadian Tea Association here and the Indian Tea Association back home, and and we were planning to bring a tea delegation to India and to do a tea tasting and a thing. And I think we are still planning to do it in around October. So that tea, much of the tea that has come is it's packaged by somebody else. The tea is coming from India, but it's either packaged by Tetley or or lot of other brands which are coming. But definitely this is one sector I really agree that we need to work a lot, especially the coffee and the coffee sector, because it's not even popular. So we not only have to have an awareness campaign, but also try to link up with the coffee board in Canada. We tried to connect with them, but we were unable to do so. So if you can help us, the board can help us in connecting, especially with the coffee board or with the players, the coffee players and the tea players, that will be really great. And it's a great sector. Kamalji, thank you for bringing it up, and we will be looking at you to helping us out.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Converging on a lighter note, as I said about customer testimonials. So here it is. I have my morning tea with Wagh Bakri chai.
JG, you should have sent the coffee to all of us.
That's what I said. It's all our South Indian coffee, that for that matter, So always a testimonial serves a lot. So sectors are very robust, and there's a great opportunity, like Converging and the team, if they can look forward for representing some of these facilities over from there to this place, that would be great,
Yeah.
More than happy, even if I can jump in and help you out on that.
Yeah, that will be great, Jayesh. If you can work with Kamalji to organize that will be great. We'll get the delegation from India or whatever you need else.
He's our poster boy of Brampton to the Indian market, so always great. See his smile, like, $1 million set.
Give me $500,000 now.
Well, we have lots of coffee drinkers at the Brampton Board of Trade. If you ever need help with quality assurance or taste testing, we're happy to be of assistance. I see Badar, you're back on the floor. You'd like to go ahead?
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. So in 2015, I actually had an opportunity to represent Brampton Board of Trade as the chair-elect at Vibrant Gujarat. Wondering if the Consul General can provide any updates on similar foreign direct investment attraction platforms, and whether the consulate would be promoting them amongst Brampton Board of Trade and other Ontario Chamber of Commerce Network chambers in months ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Shamim, for that. Vibrant Gujarat was a model, and now mostly at least 75% of the state have similar investment opportunity things, from Jammu and Kashmir to Assam to UP. So we keep on getting those the information about these kind of things, and the COVID played a dampener, so nothing happened in last 2 years. But definitely we'll keep you informed about all these investment opportunities. And of course, Vibrant Gujarat happens every year. The UP, the Tamil Nadu, everybody has started the similar initiatives, and we'll keep you posted on that. Most of the states have really working on that, and it's a competitive, it's become a competitive with competition between states on attracting investment, and that has really improved the quality and the incentives that we are giving. And many of the time, there's a kind of beauty parade of various investment opportunities, the incentives. So that's really has upped the game for every state. So we'll be very happy to keep you informed on those.
Kevin, can I just make a quick follow-up comment?
Yeah.
So I'm really glad to hear that, Madam Council General, because we see that in states across the United States as well. And you're absolutely right. When states compete for investment attraction in that manner, it's reflective of the democracy of that country and the free market economic model that they're following, and also gives us people in investment world an opportunity to try and get the best deal we can get from wherever. I did visit multiple state chambers during that trip to India, including the Chamber of Kashmir. I am part Kashmiri, I should tell you. I was born in Pakistan, and your former predecessor, Akhilesh Mishra Saab, was very kind in supporting me in getting my visa to India. So in addition to visiting Gujarat Chamber, New Delhi, Delhi, Haryana, Punjab Chamber, as well as Kashmir Chamber, we did have some conversations about economic development needs of Kashmir and Kashmiri businesses. So happy to connect with the consular services at your consulate and yourself to have that conversation in more detail.
Definitely, we'll definitely separately meet with you.
My mother's first cousin had just retired as the senior superintendent police for vigilance for Srinagar when I got there. So I had a fantastic reception and thoroughly enjoyed visiting Srinagar, as well as our village, my ancestral village in Kupwara district. So Sajjad Lone Saab is our national, I guess, MLA for that area.
Mm-hmm. So now, the things have really opened up in Kashmir, and we have been in regular touch with the J&K Trade Board, and they are very keen to not only get investments, but also, sending food processing, getting a food processing plants there. So we'll be definitely very happy to, work with you on, at least to connect you to see how can you guys work together.
Yeah, and I think again, the model I would follow would be the same for the rest of India. If there's an opportunity for us as Canadian money managers to work with Indian money managers and help Kashmiris scale up the different sectors, while we can introduce Canadian technology and Canadian businesses to that state, happy to work with you on all of that.
Wonderful, great.
Yeah.
Kanbar, is your hand up to come back on?
Yes, please. Like
Sure.
you are studying about trade mission, they're coming to Canada. I think let us know from Brampton Board of Trade and City of Brampton, the board organization get together and host them, have a one-to-one B2B meeting with them. And at the same time, I would like to say TPCI, which is known as Trade Promotion Council of India, which has been having the agro-tech, food agro-tech almost every year for last 4 or 5 years. But this time they'll be having this agro-tech in Hyderabad in January 1st week. And there's a big exposure for Indian product which can be exported. And I know the companies in Canada, they are doing a lot many export for Indian products like grocery items, packed food. So there's an opportunity for people who want to join in TPCI Agrotech in Hyderabad. I think they are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. We probably have time for another question or so if anyone would like to sneak one in. Jayesh, your hand's up.
Yeah, Kevin, thanks very much. Yeah, just to bring to your highlight, Madam Consul General, regarding the previous mission of NASSCOM, who had signed an MOU, the launch pad for them within Ontario. That's been a great success in terms of having almost 12 businesses who have landed over here within the ICT sector. And what that meant is, like, you know, right from they've been handheld in terms of their expansion of their presence from India into, sorry about that, into Ontario, and particularly from Brampton perspective, all that it requires from them to soft launch that has taken off very well. And this is something which I thought, since you had presided in November during our pandemic time, you had come in over here. So that was something we inked in terms of an MOU. Now that's something that has been shaped up in terms of a trade show that is expected in the month of November in India by NASSCOM, which would also showcase perhaps a possibility of city of Brampton. So I'm closely working with them. So that's just a food for thought for you.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Well, if there's no further questions, I think this might be a good opportunity to start wrapping up. Want to once again, Ms. Consul General, thank you very much for your time this morning. I know we covered a lot of ground, and it seems that there are some more areas to follow up on. So I've done my best to make note of folks on the call who are looking for follow-up in specific areas, and I will reach out over the next few days. But if there's something you're looking for and you don't hear from me, just let me know, and we'll do our best to make the relevant connections for you. We're entering a busy period here at the Brampton Board of Trade as we kind of move into September and later into the fall. So just wanted to share with you a few of our upcoming opportunities to participate further. On Thursday, August 25th, will be the next edition of what we call Open Door Discussion. It's another virtual meeting that's kind of on a drop-in basis, and you get to meet with typically our CEO, Todd, although I think he may be traveling, so other team members will be on the call and get to talk about whatever is on your mind. So that's always a great opportunity to network with folks. On September 13th, Business After Hours is coming back in person. We've renamed it Overtime Goals. We'll be meeting at Lionhead Golf Course from 5:30 to 7:30 for a fun evening of networking. And be sure to bring your business cards. I'm told there might be some door prizes or some draw prizes, and it'll be really great to see many of you on the 13th at Lionhead. On September 14th, our Women in Business Network, which is known as Connectwork, will meet at Sweet Chandelier for a discussion on taking risks to gain rewards. It is a gender inclusive event should any men want to join, or happy to have other female business people in Brampton that you know participate as well. And I see Jennifer from our team has shared our event calendar in the chat. That will give you the details to register for everything I just mentioned, and also give you some insight into some events that are a little further out. There'll be a lot more announced soon, and we're really looking forward to connecting with all of you in person in the coming weeks and months. So thanks again for your time this morning and look forward to catching you all soon, and enjoy the balance of summer for those of you that I don't get to speak to.
Great event, Kevin. Well done. Well done, Kamal.
Yes, just I think I will think Shubhan, do you want to say something about Commerce Consul General?
Thank you so much, and thank you for organizing this. I think it was a great event. So we covered so many sectors, and Consul General has clearly given you the opportunities that are there, where you can we can collaborate together and take forward this interaction. There are lots of things that we have to work on and take this forward together to increase both bilateral trade and investment between our two jurisdictions. Thank you so much for organizing this.
Thanks, Shubhan.
Thanks for your help, Shubhan, and I hope we'll get to continue working together. I have a feeling we will.
Yeah, surely.
Great, wonderful. Everybody have a great day, and be in touch anytime, anything we can do to help. We're looking forward to following up on today's meeting.
Thanks, Kevin, for organizing, and it's wonderful. Thanks.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.